Facebook founder and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified Thursday in a landmark case about addiction to tech and to social media.
That case involves a now 20-year-old Californian known as KGM, who sued YouTube, TikTok, Snap, and Meta, accusing the companies of engineering their apps to create compulsive use. KGM claims that compulsive use led to body dysmorphia, anxiety, and even depression. Zuckerberg told the jury Thursday that, quote, "I think a reasonable company should try to help a person that uses its services." But lawyers for his company maintain that KGM's mental health struggles were caused by familial abuse and turmoil.
This is the first time he's testified about child safety in front of a jury, but not the first time he's addressed it under oath. He's faced questions of this kind from Congress multiple times, and there may be other opportunities to testify in the future as dozens of state attorneys general are suing Meta over alleged child sexual exploitation and a bunch of other issues. The onslaught of litigation does come, as some countries are taking action against social media over concerns of negative effects on mental health. You may remember late last year, Australia actually barred people younger than 16 from using social media at all. Malaysia, Spain, Denmark also considering similar rules.
Meantime, Zuckerberg's company seems unfazed by the lawsuits. According to the New York Times, it's reportedly preparing to spend $65 million this year boosting state politicians who are friendly to artificial intelligence. It's the biggest election investment in Meta's history and marks a change in company policy, which previously would make small donations out of a corporate PAC. The company says it's getting bigger into politics over concerns that regulations could inhibit the technology's development. That money will reportedly be focused in Texas, where Meta has 3 AI data center projects, and Illinois, where last year it struck a deal to buy power from a nuclear power plant.
Lots to get into here. I don't think very highly of the last lawsuits of this type. I was flippantly going to say, I felt sad yesterday, so I thought of trying to sue Mark Zuckerberg for millions of dollars because, of course, it's his fault for that. But if I'm being less flippant, look, we all know that mental health is a complicated subject.
Thank you.
Feelings of, okay, but the complication makes it so that it seems absurd to me that you could hold Facebook responsible for the complicated factors that go into someone's depression or addiction or whatever it is. There are ambulance chasing lawyers looking for the next, you stepped in a crack on the sidewalk, sue the cement company, you fell into your pool, sue the pool company. These kinds of forms of litigation. This is an even more abstract form because it has to do with mental and emotional distress related harms for the most part, which are very difficult to parse. I don't see how you could. Yes, these products are designed to keep you hooked using them, but so are most products. When somebody writes a book, they want you to read it a bunch of times. When somebody makes a movie, they want you to go see it a bunch of times.
No,
this is
come on now.
Similar.
No. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's a creative, it's speech. It's an expressive product that wants you to engage with it, and people are choosing to engage with it because they like it. And a small number of people can show very small number. I go nuts when I hear this from, people saying this is digital fentanyl or this is just like cigarettes or something. Cigarettes killed thousands and thousands of people from lung cancer. How many people can we say have been conclusively physically damaged by social media? A couple people who you can plausibly say committed suicide because of Facebook or something. It's not nowhere even close to the scale of things we've litigated and found a harm on the maker of the product. So I'm just color me very skeptical here.
And you don't have to go to the most extreme option, like suicide. It's not the only thing. It's saying mental health
those are the kinds
effects.
of people who are suing them.
Yeah, well, social media used to be about connection, and now it's really all about addiction. There are people who work for the company that have said
Connection is addictive. Go ahead.
There are people who work for the company that have said, we've programmed these things to make every sound, every single thing be more addictive so you want more. It's
They're
like
high
gambling.
On supply. They're hyping what they did.
It is gambling. It is like gambling. The same thing, you get a cha-ching at the slot machine and you're like, oh my God, and you hear it's all programmed to make people stay there. The difference is that kids can't play.
Yeah, and I think if you sue the casino,
let me finish.
I would also...
Kids can't go to the slot machine. That's the thing. We have laws protecting the kids. Children are not fully formed consumers. So obviously they'll be way more impressionable and easily addicted to things, which is why they can't gamble. So when social media goes for a connection that was made for adults and then spreads out into something that anybody can use, even kids, and there becomes a gambling like whole side to using the platform, well, that's something that should be looked into and have oversight by regulators to make sure that we're not taking advantage of young, impressionable minds that also could deal with things like anxiety, depression, and all the feelings that come with being a young person in this world.
This is a lawsuit. This isn't regulators sitting
But
down
I think it
and saying,
opens the
"You know
door for
what? We need
precedents
to."
to try to figure out what's next. He's testified at Congress a bunch of times. A lawsuit like this can set precedents. You know, TikTok settled in a similar instance. TikTok settled. They decided that, you know, we want to put this to bed. But when lawsuits like this come, it's either money or laws that are going to make companies change. That's it. Either they lose money or laws are making them change. And so these
Law
are
on
the
the
two
book,
reasons.
Section 230 says the speech on the platform is your responsibility, not the platform's.
Yeah, well, you
We
should.
already have a law.
You have to put like
It says
child welfare
tough
over a
cookie.
profit motive. You cannot just spend your whole time trying to figure out how to.
But I'm not convinced this is even bad. Like, okay, and then you point to a small number of harms as an example that this is bad for child welfare. What about lonely and isolated kids who don't have, who are not don't have friends at school and find a like-minded community on TikTok or something? What about kids who want to learn something about the world and are learning, are watching YouTube or watching Rising or watching whatever show they can find? What about people girls who are watching makeup tutorials or whatever, like they're getting some value out of that? What about people finding content that are enhancing their lives? Like that's the experience on social media. And you're saying to me you're so certain that it's so bad that the government should, that the company should be sued out of existence, B, it should be, regulators should close off, should say we know better, which is why we can't let a 15-year-old look at they can't look at YouTube too much, they can't look at TikTok too much. The governments of the world would love to shut down people's access to information.
No, I think that, you know, the product is made to trigger this compulsive use of it. And so it has things like addictive, never-ending scroll. So you realize if you're watching a story, it just goes on forever. It'll never stop. It'll start showing you people's stories that you don't even know or follow. If you're on YouTube, it'll just keep playing the next thing. It'll keep playing. Like,
it's not hypnotism. You can just not use that.
Yeah, but people end up in, you never been in like, okay, I was looking at one thing and then you're doom scrolling, but you're an adult. And so now you're like, oh my God, I spent 2 hours like just in some people's lives that I don't even know. Why is this topic on the top of my mind? It's almost like addicting, but adults can manage that way better than children. I'm not saying adults should be picking up the phone and blaming somebody for anything that happens to them. But this KGM person is now 20, but was a kid and said, you know, a lot of that comparison and things that adults even have trouble dealing with. And mental health experts have talked about this with the effects of social media and the whole problem with like comparison, being left out, feeling isolated. Sometimes the experience that was made for connection can make people feel even more isolated than it was if you had no friends in real life.
The statistics are not broadly supportive of this idea that it's really bad for kids. What the statistics find is that kids who use social media aggressively, addictively, are not well off, and so are kids who don't use social media at all.
But it's made to be used aggressively, addictively is what I'm saying. So if kids use it are not well off, and you're saying that studies pointing to that, well, if you're making it so that more kids will use it aggressively and addictively, well then the problem's with the company that's trying to create that behavior and that pattern in children.
I support parents making these decisions for what the reasonable limit for how much their kid can use social media is. Not the government, not lawsuits, but parents, because every kid is different. And it might be that some kids, you got to take away their phone. And in schools, they should choose not to have them or keep them in the lockers or whatever. This is too new to know what the ideal policy for social media is. And it's obvious to me that we need to leave it at greater role for parents to decide what the right thing is at this point. The government does not know. It doesn't know yet. It's too new. So I would not do anything. Up next, another major technology company, more of this same topic, is moving its headquarters to Miami, Florida. We'll be right back after this.